Hey you guys, my name is Aubrey. My blog is Raising a Christian and I'm pretty active. Oh, this is Christian! This is my daughter, Christian Grace. So I'm super thankful. Thank you to the Moms View for having me today for the Feature Friday. I'm excited to get to know everyone and share my personal story with y'all and, just get to... Sorry, she's enjoying looking at herself. Is that you? Who's that? So yeah, just to introduce myself in this video, I think the best way to tell you a little bit about myself is just to take you on a timeline of my journey through pregnancy and now these first 6 months of motherhood. So let's start with Halloween of 2017. That's when I saw a positive pregnancy test. My husband and I, that was our first month really trying, and we were super grateful and super thankful and fortunate enough to get pregnant our first month of trying. And that was the first month that we used ovulation strips, so I decided I didn't want to be just the person who we weren't not trying. Like, I didn't want that stress to get to me. I just thought, you know what, I want to do everything I can the first time to avoid kind of psyching myself out if it didn't happen. So, Halloween 2017, we found out I was pregnant, and I think, I imagine a lot of moms can relate to this. When I saw those 2 pink lines, I instantly felt joy, and as fast as that joy, the feeling of joy came the feeling of fear, because pregnancy is scary. We hear the stories, we experience the stories ourselves, and so I can vividly remember, I know exactly where I was in our bedroom, seeing those 2 pink lines and literally falling to my knees to pray, because I just felt like, oh my gosh, I've been blessed with this huge gift, and I realized how much I had gained by seeing those 2 pink lines, and so in that same instant, I realized how much I had to lose. So fast forward to I was 17 weeks pregnant. It's Monday, January 29th, 2018. The weekend before, my husband and I had gone to do our gender ultrasound. We didn't see the gender. They wrote it down for us, did the ultrasound, whatever. So we had done that on Saturday. And that Monday, January 29th, I teach middle school. I was in class and I looked at my phone and I had a call from my OB. And I remember thinking, we had an appointment in like 3 days, like that Thursday. Why were they calling me? Something must be wrong. When we had our gender ultrasound, they had me fill out who my OB was. And I was just like, something's wrong. They saw something. And so I got on my phone during class because I was so scared. And it was my OB's nurse, and they told me, quote, because I'll never forget the words, the ultrasound tech saw a cleft lip and other possible birth defects. And I don't know if the woman who told me that knows this, but I will never forget the sound of her voice. I'll never forget exactly what she said because, and I don't know if she knows this, but she changed my world forever when she told me that. And so I got someone to cover my classes for the rest of the day, got in the car, called my husband, and was just weeping on the phone. He hung up with me to call the OB because, they called and said, hey, your daughter has a cleft lip and other possible birth defects. We'll see you in a couple of days. So my husband was trying to get us an appointment to go in earlier. I mean, that couldn't have been, I'm a first-time mom. I'm 4 months pregnant. Like, that was bad. That kind of stress, thankfully didn't hurt my pregnancy. And then I called my mom while my husband was calling the OB. And now that I'm a mom, I can't imagine the kind of fear I put into my own mom's heart when I called her grief-stricken, couldn't even get the words out. It was just a bad day. It was a hard day. So the rest of my pregnancy was spent grieving and just full of fear and pretty much, I don't want to cry. Hold on. What I like to say is when I got that call about the cleft, I couldn't breathe. And for the rest of my pregnancy, I couldn't breathe. It was literally like I was underwater, gasping for air, and couldn't get it. Like, I felt like no one understood me. I felt like no one was saying the right thing to me. Bless their heart. I don't know what they could have said to make me feel better. And I let the cleft become the center of my world, the center of who I thought my daughter was. Like, all the fun things about pregnancy got sucked out, and was replaced with just fear and anxiety and fear of surgeries, fear of what would people say when they saw her, fear of I'm going to end up winding up in prison when someone says the wrong thing because I'm going to have to kill them. And fear, just reading, educating myself and seeing all about the surgeries and the different devices and the fact that they can't breastfeed and that they need special bottles and they can't use pacifiers if their palate is affected. And, I was going to specialist appointments every 2 weeks for the rest of my pregnancy, and I just let that cleft diagnosis rule my world. But fast forward to July 6, 2018, when they placed this baby girl in my arms, and, finally I was able to breathe. After 5 months of, like, gasping for air, look at this girl. Just the biggest like breath of air. And in that moment, I realized I could be anything for my daughter. I could do anything for my daughter. I could be as strong as she needed me to be. And finally, about maybe 2 or 3 weeks after she was born, the cleft just became a side note. Like, I let it be the center of who she was throughout my entire pregnancy. And finally, I was able to see for myself that, yeah, she had a cleft lip, but she also has the cutest, most, infectious laugh. And she smiles every morning when she wakes up and sees us. And her voice is like the sweetest sound I've ever heard. And she's still, trying to sit up. And we're introducing solids. And she's starting to do this weird, crawl thing, and there's just so much more to her than a cleft. And we've made it through her first surgery where they repaired her cleft lip. There's still a journey ahead of us. She still has her palate surgery to repair the roof of her to repair the roof of her mouth, and then she'll need a surgery where they take a piece of her hip bone and graft it into her gum line. She may need orthodontic surgery or jaw surgery because repairing the palate can stunt the growth of her jaw. So she will need rhinoplasty because she has a severely deviated septum. She may need repairs if there's holes in the palate or anything. She may need revision surgeries as she continues to grow and her face grows. But like I said, that's just part of, she got shots today. Look at them. So sad. What a day. But yeah, so that's kind of my journey. Like I said, she wasn't able to breastfeed, which was something I really grieved because I think a lot of moms look forward to a breastfeeding journey with their child. Even though she's never breastfed once in her life, anytime I'm holding her and she's hungry, she turns her head I'm like, girl, how do you know to do that? We've never done that. But so I do exclusively pump. I'm pretty proud of myself. I've been exclusively pumping for more than 6 months. I'm a big advocate of fed is best. I chose to exclusively pump for a couple of reasons. One, with her cleft, I don't know, with her cleft, with surgeries coming up, I wanted to do everything I could to provide her, to keep her healthy, because I didn't want her surgeries to get postponed due to illness. So yeah, I chose to exclusively pump, and really reflecting back on that decision, so much of my pregnancy and Christian was out of my control. I couldn't control the cleft. I couldn't control the severity of it. I couldn't control if she'd be able to breastfeed, but that was something I could control. And I know some people it's out of their control, breastfeeding and pumping, like supply issues or latching issues. Like sometimes you have no control over it, but this was something I did have control over. So throughout my journey of finding about the cleft, you looking at those lights? Finding about the cleft, having to exclusively pump, there's one thing I've realized, and that's that no one should have to go through being a mom, being pregnant, a diagnosis of your child, anything like that, you should never have to go through alone. And I think it means the world, or at least it meant the world to me, to realize I wasn't alone. I wasn't alone in having a child with a cleft. I wasn't alone in exclusively pumping. I'm not alone in being a mom. And so I think that's really what motivated me to switch all of my accounts from private to public and share Christian's story, to share me exclusively pumping, just to share my journey as a mother, just because I think it's a blessing to be able to share this journey and to be able to help women understand whatever they're going through, they're not alone. So yeah, that's just kind of what I wanted to share with y'all today. And you know, come follow me on Instagram, Raising a Christian. You can read more about my blog and my birth story. I actually had a birth videographer, so you can see my whole birth, nothing graphic, just like the sweet stuff. So yeah, you can see everything. Come follow me on Instagram. I love to talk with other moms, other cleft moms, other pumping or breastfeeding moms, or just other moms in general, because we're all going through the same thing. And like I said, this would be so much harder without support or without seeing someone else going through what you're going through. So yeah, thank you again to the Mom's View for letting me be the feature Friday. Christian and I are excited to get to know everyone, and message me, come hang out with me, talk to me about your journey and your overall mom experience, and have a good day.